Hello, this is Vampire, and for today's lesson, I'm going to try to help you guys flow. Alright, flowing is difficult to explain because it's something that you have to feel. Alright, basically, you're going to need three things, okay? Number one is exaggerate the movements at first, as much as you can. Number two is make them circular. And then number three is a ton of reps, the most important. Alright, the example that I'm going to be using is the most basic form, okay? It's going to be a diagonal, horizontal, horizontal, and then stab. And that was a good example of how not to flow. Everything was really choppy. Okay, flowing is when the techniques are chained together. You're doing a combo, actually, okay? So to do that, number one is, remember, I said go ahead and exaggerate the movements, okay? So instead of just going diagonal, diagonal, we're going to go diagonal, continue the motion all the way. Do a follow through, and that takes you right up here where I need to be anyway. And then from here I can start number two. So you see that? Number one and number two go perfectly well together. So we go 1 and 2. And this is actually, now we're making it circular, and this is how you get your figure 8 pattern. Alright, so number one and number two basically create this figure 8 motion. I'm making an infinity sign, alright? This big old infinity sign motion. So that's what I'm doing. 1 and 2. And then number two right here, this is going to take me to number 3. You see, I go 1 and then number 2 takes me to over here. This is where my stick needs to be to do number 3 and number 4, okay? So from here, okay, when I go number 3, it is horizontal, but if you notice, it slightly goes up, and then number 4 slightly goes up, because I'm doing another figure 8. Okay, so it's actually, number 1, number 2 is a figure 8, 3 and 4 is also a figure 8. And then that takes me again to this side, which I need to be on the right side, and I'm continuing the motion into a stab, okay? So it doesn't just stop here, and then it starts like this. It continues, and this part's still important. This circular motion takes me to the stab right there. After the stab, this is where this technique ends, which is number 5. This is where number 5 ends, and then we go back to number 1. So I need to chain that together. Number 1 needs to be up here. Okay, this is the number 1 strike. So from 5, I stab, and then I continue the motion up here, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now everything is now connected. So now it's like when you do the alphabet, you could also do it in cursive. Okay, so we're basically going to stylize it and emphasize the circular movements. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You see that? It's a lot more circular